Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into the latest financial performance of one of India's major insurance players, ICICI Lombard General Insurance Company Limited.
That's right. ICICI Lombard is the leading private sector non-life insurer in India, offering a whole range of products. Motor, health, travel, fire, marine, crop, you name it. They've been around for over 2 decades and have a strong brand presence.
Absolutely. So they've released their audited financial results for the fourth quarter, that's Q4, and the full financial year ended March 31st, 2025. These results were approved by their board of directors on April 15th, 2025.
And there's a key point we need to highlight right up front. From October 1, 2024, IRDAI mandated a change in accounting for long-term products to a 1/n basis. This means the Q4 and full FY 2025 numbers aren't strictly comparable to the previous year's figures on a like-for-like reported basis. ICICI Lombard has thankfully provided some adjusted figures, especially for growth rates, to give a clearer picture excluding this accounting impact, which we'll touch upon.
Okay, that's a crucial piece of context. So keeping that accounting change in mind, let's look at the headline numbers. How did they fare on the top line, which for an insurance company is Gross Direct Premium Income or GDPI?
For the full financial year 2025, the reported GDPI came in at 268.33 billion rupees. That's an 8.3% increase over the 247.76 billion rupees in FY 24. Now, if we exclude the impact of that 1/n accounting change, the company stated their GDPI growth was actually 11.0% for FY 25.
11% adjusted growth. That sounds quite strong. How does that compare to the industry?
It does look good. The company mentioned their reported growth of 8.3% was higher than the industry's 6.2%. And their adjusted growth of 11.0% was also ahead of the adjusted industry growth of 8.6%. So they seem to be outpacing the market.
And what about the quarterly performance for GDPI?
For Q4 FY 25, the GDPI was 62.11 billion rupees, showing a growth of 2.3% compared to 60.73 billion rupees in Q4 FY 24. This was slightly ahead of the industry's growth of 1.7% for the same quarter.
Got it. Now let's move down to profitability. For general insurers, the combined ratio or COR is a key indicator. How did that look?
The combined ratio for FY 25 stood at 102.8%, which is an improvement from 103.3% in FY 24. A lower COR is better, ideally below 100%, as it indicates underwriting profitability.
And they mentioned cat losses, right? Catastrophe losses can impact the COR significantly.
Exactly. Excluding the impact of cat losses, the COR for FY 25 was 102.4% compared to 102.5% in FY 24. So a slight improvement even on an underlying basis. Cat losses themselves were lower this year, 0.94 billion rupees in FY 25 versus 1.37 billion rupees in FY 24. For Q4 FY 25 specifically, the COR was 102.5%, a slight tick up from 102.3% in Q4 FY 24.
Okay, so a reasonably stable and slightly improved underwriting performance picture, especially ex-cat losses. How did this translate to the bottom line? Let's talk profit before tax, PBT, and profit after tax, PAT.
For the full year FY 25, PBT saw strong growth, up 30.0% to 33.21 billion rupees from 25.55 billion rupees in FY 24. Consequently, profit after tax or PAT also grew robustly by 30.7% to 25.08 billion rupees compared to 19.19 billion rupees last year.
Wow, 30% growth in PBT and PAT is impressive, especially when GDPI growth was around 8 to 11%. What drove that?
A significant factor seems to be higher capital gains from their investments. The report highlights capital gains were 8.02 billion rupees in FY 25, up from 5.51 billion rupees in FY 24. That definitely boosted the bottom line.
That makes sense. But what about the fourth quarter? Was the profit trend similar?
Interestingly, no. For Q4 FY 25, PBT actually degrew by 4.2% to 6.68 billion rupees compared to 6.98 billion in Q4 FY 24. PAT also saw a slight dip of 1.9%, coming in at 5.10 billion rupees versus 5.19 billion rupees in the same quarter last year.
So full year profit growth was strong but Q4 saw a decline. Was that related to the capital gains?
Precisely. Capital gains in Q4 FY25 were significantly lower, at just 0.06 billion rupees, compared to 1.56 billion rupees in Q4 FY24. With underwriting performance being relatively stable quarter on quarter via the COR, the drop in investment gains seems to be the primary reason for the Q4 profit decline.
Understood. What about earnings per share, EPS, and return on average equity, ROAE?
The basic EPS for FY25 improved nicely to 50.74 rupees from 39.03 rupees in FY24, reflecting the higher annual profit. The return on average equity, ROAE, also improved for the full year, reaching 19.1% compared to 17.2% in FY24. However, mirroring the quarterly profit trend, the annualized ROAE for Q4 FY25 was lower at 14.5% compared to 17.8% in Q4 FY24.
Okay, any exceptional items we should be aware of apart from the cat losses discussed?
The results don't explicitly mention exceptional items in the standard sense. The cat losses are noted separately, and the impact of the one-by-one accounting change is highlighted for comparability. But no major one-off restructuring costs or similar items seem to be reported in the main summary.
Let's touch upon the balance sheet strength. The solvency ratio is critical for insurers.
Yes, and they look very comfortable there. As of March 31st, 2025, the solvency ratio was 2.69 times, up from 2.62 times a year ago and well above the minimum regulatory requirement of 1.50 times. This indicates a strong capital position.
Good to hear. And book value per share?
That increased too, standing at 288.53 rupees as of March end 2025, up from 242.76 rupees a year prior.
What about shareholder returns? Any news on dividends?
Yes, the board has proposed a final dividend of 7.00 rupees per share for FY25. This is subject to shareholder approval, of course. Including the interim dividend paid earlier, the total dividend for FY25 would be 12.50 rupees per share.
Now let's break down the business performance by segment. The investor presentation gave some details on the product mix and performance.
Right. Looking at the FY25 product mix based on GDPI, motor-owned damage or OD was 20%. Motor third-party or TP was also 20%. So motor overall is 40%. Health, travel and personal accident combined were the largest segment at 29%. Fire insurance contributed 12%. Crop was 5%. Marine 3%. And others made up the remaining 11%. It's a reasonably diversified portfolio.
How did the key segments perform in terms of growth and profitability, particularly loss ratios?
For motor, the total GDPI in FY25 reached 107.40 billion rupees. The loss ratio for motor improved to 64.2% from 65.2% in FY24. Their market share in motor insurance also increased slightly to 10.8%. In health, GDPI was 76.73 billion rupees. However, the loss ratio here increased to 82.2% in FY25 from 78.9% in FY24. They did mention their retail health market share grew to 3.3%. For property and casualty, or P&C lines excluding crop, fire GDPI was 69.95 billion rupees with a significantly improved loss ratio of 46.8% compared to 62.2% last year. Marine GDPI was included in the overall P&C figure, but its loss ratio for the year was higher at 79.8%. And crop insurance saw GDPI of 14.25 billion rupees, but the loss ratio remained high at 89.2%, similar to 88.4% last year.
So it looks like motor and fire showed improved profitability from a loss ratio perspective, while health and crop faced higher claims ratios. How does this feed into the overall COR improvement?
The improvement in the overall COR, despite the higher loss ratio in health, likely comes from the better performance in the large motor segment and the significant improvement in the fire segment's loss ratio, possibly coupled with expense management, which also factors into the combined ratio.
Makes sense. The presentation also highlighted their investment portfolio.
Yes, the investment portfolio stood at 535.08 billion rupees as of March 31st, 2025. The mix was 45.4% in corporate bonds, 33.7% in government securities or GSECs, and 15.0% in equity including ETFs. The realized return on the portfolio for FY25 was 8.42%. They also reported a significant unrealized gain of 18.14 billion rupees on the portfolio as of year-end.
They also mentioned digital initiatives.
Indeed, their IL Take Care app crossed 14.9 million downloads. They highlighted using AI for cashless authorization in group health insurance, reaching 73.2% in March 2025. These digital efforts are key for efficiency and customer experience.
Okay, let's shift to the formal audit side. We have the audited results. What did the auditors say? Any qualifications or emphasis of matter?
The company had joined statutory auditors, PKF Sridharan Santhanam LLP and Walker Chandiok and Company LLP. According to the cover letter submitted to the exchanges and the auditor's report itself within the detailed results, both firms have issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements for the year ended March 31st, 2025.
Unmodified opinion. That means a clean report essentially?
Correct. It signifies that in the auditor's view, the financial statements give a true and fair view and comply with the relevant accounting standards and regulations. There were no qualifications or adverse remarks mentioned in the summary or the report itself that would raise major red flags about the presented numbers. They would have outlined key audit matters as per standards, likely focusing on claims reserves and premium recognition, which are standard complex areas for insurers, but the overall opinion is clean.
That's reassuring. So considering everything, the growth, profitability trends, segment performance, strong solvency, and the clean audit report, what's the overall outlook?
Disclaimer first. As always, investors should consult certified financial advisors before making any investment decisions. The outlook appears cautiously optimistic. ICICI Lombard has demonstrated solid GDPI growth, outpacing the industry, improved its overall combined ratio slightly ex-CAT, and delivered strong PAT growth for the full year, aided significantly by capital gains. Their solvency position is robust, providing a strong foundation. The leadership position in the private sector is a plus.
What about potential risks or headwinds?
Key risks include the inherent volatility from catastrophe events impacting the combined ratio, rising claims inflation, particularly in health and motor segments, intense competition in the general insurance space, regulatory changes, and fluctuations in investment market returns, which clearly impact profitability via capital gains. The need to continually invest in technology and distribution also requires ongoing focus and capital. And while the one-by-one accounting change impacts comparability in the short term, it's a regulatory requirement across the industry.
So wrapping up, what are the main takeaways for listeners from ICICI Lombard's FY25 performance?
I'd say the key points are 1. Solid GDPI growth, beating the industry, even after adjusting for the accounting change. 2. Improved full-year profitability metrics like COR ex-CAT and PAT, significantly boosted by investment gains. 3. Q4 profits, dipped due to lower capital gains compared to last year. 4. Strong solvency and balance sheet position. 5. Mixed performance across segments with motor and fire showing improved loss ratios while health saw deterioration. 6. A clean, unmodified audit report from the joint auditors.
It paints a picture of a resilient company navigating the market well, benefiting from investment performance, but needing to manage claims trends in key segments like health. The accounting change impact is also something to keep in mind when looking at reported trends this year.
Exactly. A solid performance overall for FY25, setting a strong base but with ongoing industry dynamics to manage.
Great analysis. Thanks for breaking that down for us. And thank you all for tuning in. If you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode.